A man needs wisdom if he plans to wander widely. Life is easier at home. He'll be laughed at if he sits among the wise and has nothing to say.
I also like this one. I'm going to say that a lot about these stanzas. So, life is obviously easier at home because you know where everything is. You've got all your favorite stuff there. It's you know everyone. You're set up. You really don't have to exert yourself, and you don't have to pay attention to a lot of things. But you need to. If you want to get wisdom or exercise your wisdom, you're going to have to wander outside of your home, outside of the known area that you have, and explore and sort of figure stuff out from there. And, at the very beginning, we talked about the expectation that you go out into the world. Well, here it is again. It's that you have to go out and wander the world, because if you don't, you're going to remain ignorant and people will laugh at you. And and it's interesting in Crawford, he says, he'll be laughed at if he sits among the wise and has nothing to say. In Larrington, she says, you'll be laughed at if you don't know anything. So the language, there's a small difference, because I could see people reading this and thinking, oh, well, I don't have anything to say because you're learning. You're sitting among wise people and you're just sort of soaking it in, and you don't have anything meaningful to add because you're learning things that you didn't know before. And that's not what like Crawford's translation is saying, or Larrington's, is that if you don't know anything, what you say will be nothing. There's going to be no substance to it, no value to it. And I think that's the proper understanding of having nothing to say, is that you'll be spewing out words, but they're hollow and garbage. So, and then that's why they laugh at you, because you're saying things you just don't know what you're talking about. Really, is what it comes down to, because you haven't gone out of your comfort zone to learn things.
Yeah, I love that kind of catch-22 here, is that you can't know things without going out and wandering. But if you go out and try something for the first time, you obviously know very little, right? So it's you're going out there, you're putting yourself out there to get this experience, but you might not necessarily have much to contribute at the beginning, and so it's hard. I think that describes why it's hard to try new things, new activities, and to get yourself into new social situations, because you might not necessarily have a great number of things that you can talk about, that you can bring to the table. But this absolutely says that you have to get out there anyway, right? Because if you don't get out there at all, you'll have nothing to say, period. Right. So it's sort of a feedback loop. If you get yourself going and you get yourself out there with people, you'll get more experience, and people will like having you around because you'll have interesting things to say or things to bring to the table, versus, the opposite side of it. If you just keep yourself at home, you're not going to gain new experiences, new knowledge. And then if you do, put yourself out there every once in a while, you'll get shot down consistently, and maybe just want to run back into your hidey hole there. And
for sure.
And so I think it's all about the attitude of how you approach that. Are you going into a new situation with the intent to grow and learn? And okay, maybe you'll get laughed at as you're trying, but you still need to try. You still need to get that experience. So,
and if you've ever been in a situation where you're learning something new and you're doing it earnestly and with humility, you do get laughed at by people who have done it before, but it's not a mean laugh, or at least you shouldn't take it as a mean laugh. It's you're being brought into the fold, and they're testing you to see if you can deal with the situations that they've dealt with. And that's sort of like, that's actually kind of the first step. Can you be accepted into the group so that they can show you the things that you're going to need to learn? And one of the initiation rites, I guess, is sort of, they're going to make fun of you a bit. And your best bet is to laugh because, well, you are being ridiculous. You have no idea what you're doing. Like, just laugh at it. It is funny. And, you know, but if you laugh with them, they welcome you in, and they're like, okay, yeah, this guy is going to be fine. And, you know, we'll show him because he's worth it.
And if they give you a jab, if you can jab them right back.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, you might still be this worthless new guy, but, you know, if you can give it as good as you can take it and stick around, then it should all work out.
For sure.
That's I think that pretty much happens in any social situation.
Definitely.
Right. And so that's just a good lesson for kind of how to be, but also, I think it's again, a call to action, but also a warning against, you know, just staying at home. Life is easier at home. I mean, yes, it is, but it's not going to work out for you. By going out into the world, the goal shouldn't be to just make this nice, cozy nest at home, and that's all you ever do. You never leave your house. That shouldn't be the goal, right? And I don't think if you go through life with that as your goal, I don't think it's going to turn out great. No, right? I think that's what this is saying. It's just you know, you have to go out into the world, and you know, if you go out into this unexplored territory, you need to have wisdom with you, and you need to plan. The wording here is, a man needs wisdom if he plans to wander widely. So I mean that puts emphasis on the word plan. So you have to have a game plan if you're going to go out into the unknown. So this is also something like don't go out into chaos just for the sake of it without any preparation. Like before, right? Definitely. Like you have to have a game plan. You have to pay attention. You have to have your wits about you. Wits are needful is the wording in Larrington. I might have said that already. No, you have to have all these things. Then you can acquire the new experiences and hold your own in the new social situation, or, you know, with the wise people. So
for sure. In fact, some of it, knowing that you need wisdom and that plan if you're going to wander, that in itself is wisdom. So it's actually probably a pretty one of the most useful bits of wisdom you can have if you recognize that you're going to need preparation to do these things, because again, yeah, as we've said a few times now, if you just go out willy-nilly, it's not going to work out for you.
No, not at all.